The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
All right, I think it's working. Happy 4th of July, everybody. And yeah, we're running late. Welcome, everyone. Happy Independence Day for you Americans, and for you British subjects, happy American Insurrection Day.
Yes.
Marks the start of the American Rebellion.
You British royals and your stupid thrones and everything. How did it feel to
Happy
have the
birthday,
American...
Britain.
Yeah, how did it feel to have the big American boot up your... How did it feel to have the big American boot up your royal ass? And
Or
we'll
as
do
it's
it
known
again.
in England, Friday.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I had a whole mess of things. I had like 5-6 things come up a little after 8. I had to deal with all of them. And I got Seth texting me, hey, where have you been? I'm like, I don't have time to respond. That's how busy I am.
But once I'm on time, everyone else is late. That's how.
That's your fault.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it is amazing. I have a standing meeting at 8:15 every morning with my team, and it is extremely rare that I'm on time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I miss it outright. It's just this 15-minute stand. It's a completely useless meeting. Yeah, but the few times,
mandate. Yeah.
well, when I'm on time, and I mean like I'm in at 8:13, I'm on that call.
Yeah.
There might be 1 or 2 people that are on time, and everyone else is 5, 6, 7 minutes late. If I'm 4 minutes late, everybody's not only on time, they're almost done. It is unbelievable. So I feel you, Dr. Coppanails.
Mm-hmm.
So I am guest hosting until relieved of command. But to my, I guess it is to my right, Mr. Applegate, say howdy.
Good night, friends, fans, air conditioners, and other cool units. Remember, today is brought to you by Gun Control Rejectors. Okay, rejected gun control.
Yes.
Brought to America, and then you want gun control. You want gun control? Go to Britain. Okay,
Tax evaders, militias, and everything else. And down in this corner,
and moonshiners. Don't forget the word moonshiners.
Oh, that's right, the moonshiners. Down in this corner, Mr. Coffinail, Dr. Coffinails, excuse me.
I just like to remind everybody that freedom isn't free; it's $1.05.
Yeah, it's $1 of blood a year. And below me, last but not least,
and a fifth of scotch.
Say howdy, Anime.
Hello.
And let me know if I'm too loud, because I cannot
No,
tell.
you're good. And I also have the American flag in the background.
There you go.
With a hot chick with her tits out and drinking beer. So,
okay.
Yeah, that's the real American party. So
the other one.
Yeah, that's the official American flag.
Yeah. Oh, I can turn people up individually.
That's it.
Okay.
Freedom is beer, boobs, and bacon.
All right, now let's see if I can find. It's been a long time. Let's try this. Let's see what this has.
Emotional damage.
That was cut off. Or better yet.
How dare you?
There you go. So hopefully y'all got sunburned and had a lot of hot dogs. I did none of that. I got some reviews done, and then I was moving them over to my Mac, and I realized that my backup is completely messed up. It's got the files, but it has multiple copies, and then it's supposedly I send it from my server to my NAS, and it ran for like 20 minutes, and they're not there. And I'm like, but it said it sent them, but they're not there. So I don't know where the heck they went. So I'll deal with that later. But I shut that server off just because it's too warm. But anyway, so did anybody do anything fun today? Or
No, I went to work actually, and
Ooh.
no, it's not time and a half. We're not the managers or hourly one. So yeah, that was fun. So I just got the regular base pay.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's times I've had
Hopefully-
to work on the 4th. It's always been just it's just regular time. Yeah. Sorry, man, I cut you off, but
So if I had the power, I would write in my clause, "Don't have me work on holidays where it's not time and a half." I should write that in my thing. I should write
Yeah,
that.
because your time and a half is tax free.
Yep.
Your regular time.
Yes,
Right.
indeed. I could run that bitch as long as I want. Hell, I could work a 13-hour shift.
No worries. The first,
From 9 a.m. all the way to 7.
for a buck. Yeah.
yeah.
For
So
$1.50
when does that
extra.
take
Yeah, tax-free.
effect?
There you go.
Uh-oh.
It's taken effect. He signed it.
I'm
Yeah, I
getting
don't know when it actually goes into effect, but it will
No, the
affect
boss
me
signed it.
in a
Once the boss
positive way.
signs it, that's it. It's in effect.
Did he remove himself on purpose? There we go. I'm
Oh,
getting
well,
a
now-
pop-up
Now
about
you had to outdo me with the breasts.
I got studio
Yeah, there's a
studio
better-
instability issues. Posted
There
8
you
hours ago.
there you go.
Oh,
Take-
he's listening in the background. Don't add him yet.
Take that, leftist. Take that, feminist. That's what
Okay.
real Americans want.
All right. He's literally in the background, everybody. Shh. Behave.
Yeah, somebody's letting fireworks off here about an hour, more than that ago. It was right before 8 o'clock. I'm like, it's not even dark, and now there's no noise whatsoever. It is dark out here, and the moon is kind of just to the south, and one of the dogs is hiding, but there's no noise yet.
Yeah.
So and that's one of the things, and I think I've brought this up before, is there's, especially during the summer, there's at least 3, if not 4. I know there's a 4th one on the way to trade. So going to Boone before you get to North Carolina. There's one going out toward Virginia. There's 2 in town, well, on the outskirts, because there's a temporary one that sets up across from Food Lion, but there's one on the same side as Food Lion that's permanent. Firework, I know. What's this point? Firework stand, places to buy fireworks, and yet people rarely do them. There's some people below us that do it. There's like 2, I think it's their 2 grandkids have a birthday. They do some for like 10 minutes and that's it. I was fully expecting when, especially Labor, when Labor Day hit after we moved in, or 4th of July, because we moved in May, all these places to buy fireworks, people are going to light up, the county's just going to look like it's a Christmas, tree. No, that's so weird. So I don't know who's keeping these people in business, but they don't live in Johnson County. My guess is they live in Virginia and North Carolina. They come across state lines, they get their stuff.
I want to celebrate 4th of July the American way. Go to Mexico and buy fireworks.
Yeah. Well, there are some states where it's illegal to buy them, but not illegal to set them off.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
Now, some states it's illegal to do both.
Buy it. Yeah.
Yeah. If you lived in a blue controlled state, you probably can't do anything with sparklers and the little wimpy ones at that.
Yeah, because they get all offended, like, yeah, you're giving me epilepsy. Really, you're walking perfectly normal.
I think some child got burned 20 years ago, and let's take everyone's fun away.
Here's a Roman candle.
They'll take. They
Light
want to
it.
save children, so they'll take guns away. They want to stop child molestation, so they'll kick men out of teaching, right?
Yeah.
But then when you say let's stop crime by illegals by deporting them all, and they're suddenly whoa, no, you're generalizing your mass was it mass
You're
what do you do? Mass
generalizing.
punishment?
You're generalizing misogyny and racism.
You're being a bigoted racist. Yeah. Stereotyping.
Yeah,
But
stereotyping. That's it.
right.
Stereotyping and collective punishment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
I had a point
the
somewhere.
typical liberal hypocrisy. Whatever gives me more power, whatever gives me more control.
Yeah.
And
Well,
you forget.
and Antifa seems to have an unlimited supply of Roman candles. Did you ever notice that? That they shoot at cops.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and they never get.
I'm sorry,
for,
but you shoot that at me, I'm going to shoot back, and it ain't going to be fireworks.
Yes, it will. Got a magnesium
Would
tip.
that include a bullet-fed M60
No,
with the arm
No,
with the arm
just
stand?
straight
just
up.
be a handheld device, but it's just like and I've talked about it before. It's like the Berna
It's a hole puncher.
right? Like the Berna makes a non-lethal
Oh,
device.
I've seen though. I'm
Yeah.
debating if I've been debating on getting that. I saw it. It looks cool, and I'm like, would I get?
They used to look more like a taser, almost like a flashlight, but now they make some that look like a 9mm, except that it's bright orange or whatever. I'm sorry, you pull that on me, you're going to get shot by the real thing. If you're going to pull something on me that does not look like a gun, then maybe I pause long enough to realize you don't aiming a gun at me. But you aim something that looks like a gun at me and you don't have a badge, you're going to definitely get a real thing pointed at you. That's just, I don't understand that. It's like some people have modified ARs and painted them and stuff and added stuff to them that make them look like a toy gun. I'm like, that's dumb. You are mixing metaphors and you're going to get somebody, probably yourself, seriously injured. Make the toy guns look like toys, make the real thing look like real thing, and don't mix those two.
Fireworks facility exploded today in California.
Another one? There was one that blew up like 4 or 5 days ago.
Yeah, there's been a few of them.
I'm sure it was an accident.
Oh man.
Yeah, like all the other accidents, like all the baby formula.
You got a link you can put in private chat and I'll bring it up.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this thing. I'm like, damn, do I want to buy it? Because they have the TCR and then the Mission 4 defense. You see, but with me, Channel Dad, with me, I would most likely buy it for what it's used for what it's actually used for, intended for, and not be an idiot. Because it's like if somebody tries to attack me, it's like, yeah, I got this. I'm not gonna pull that full strength. If they go blind by it, not my problem. And no, I'm not gonna call the hospital because they're not gonna learn anything.
Let's see if I can share this.
But legally though, we're all being legal here and everything.
Because you got to remember, right? All these conveniences, right? Remember when they wanted to ban beef, and suddenly all these beef factories are shut down due to health scares. No, nobody ever identified the source of the bacteria that made its way across multiple state lines within 24 hours. You know.
Yeah.
Did
you guys hear that?
The same bacteria shows up in baby food formula when all that. Remember when they wanted to buy more baby food from Mexico, and suddenly all the, because every time. Remember the old saying by Bill Gates, Bill, what happens when people don't want to buy your product? I find a way.
Yeah, too bad. They're going to buy it anyway. Well, it's the exact same thing we did with Dawson Windows, right? He had an earner. Well, there were already two other operating
shut down
systems out,
DR, yeah.
and he just told people who were wanting to carry DOS. If you carry DOS, you have to sell it with every computer, whether the person wants it or not. So it just gets rolled into the cost. This is why CPM had a difficult time. DR DOS, OS2, all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anti-competitive behavior. Microsoft. Look, technically, I don't agree with socialism, but technically, the American government should own Google, Microsoft, and Facebook because you paid for it.
Yeah. An argument could be made for that because, they do get a lot of government money. Yeah, look at the spark. There's things going off. So there's 7 people missing. Wow.
Not just money, right? Not just money in advertising and for use as a platform. They built the platform. They funded it. DARPA. But Facebook didn't come out of nowhere, okay? 2 guys had an idea. They went to DARPA, got funding for it, and they hired Zuckerberg to make it. He deliberately crashed the company, and then he got $1 million grant to make it again. And then an Obama-era judge. Now, how does a guy who borrows $1 million, what did he do with it? He gave it to the Obama campaign. And, of course, the judge upheld his rights to the code for Facebook.
Yeah. I wonder how much of that is covered in there's a movie about it.
None of it.
Social media. Social. What the heck is it called? Social something.
Yeah, social media. Yeah.
Yeah, but they do cover how he absconded. How he took control by creating more shares and not increasing those. So those guys, their shares stayed the same and went down to 1% or something. That way he could boot them out.
But that's a common scam in America, creating new shares.
Yeah. That was privately held at the time.
That's why his shares are worth so much each, because he's never increased the amount of shares in his company's life.
Yeah.
Because he owns them.
But that's how he, was able to get complete control of that and kick those 2 guys out. But the internet and everything else was created with DARPA and other stuff. And then when they gave it away in the 90s, that's the beginning of the commercial internet that we all know today. But we had a zillion ads and everything else, but the speeds of the internet rapidly increased. So.
And they now admit that they held back the speed of the internet, that the original modems were held back. They shipped 300 board modems, but they were 2,400 just if you took the pin out,
Yeah, I don't know. But a lot of the problem with the phone lines was the fidelity.
Yes.
So you could
Which is why they went to... Right. Somehow they managed to go to digital, from...
Yeah. Everybody, you guys still there?
Sorry, guys. Yeah.
Oh,
but I'm
boring.
just saying.
Yeah.
It is. It's the same with Big Pharma. Big Pharma is the biggest lie in the world. It was created with medical technology stolen. Taken taken off the Germans and Japanese. Most of your pharmaceuticals today may be developed in recent modern times, but the original pharmaceuticals you had for the 50s, 60s, and 70s were all taken from Germany and Japan.
I'm trying to get okay, this might work a little bit better.
America had no genetic research until the Nazis discovered DNA, and allegedly were sequencing it by the 1940s.
What button is this? How were
they sequencing it? Well, those chemical tests.
No. I'm trying to share something again, and my share button is gone. Nope, I don't want to do that.
That's
what the heck? Yeah.
It's called present. You can't see it?
I had it. There's present. Okay, maybe
it disappears.
Okay, there we go. No, I got it. I was looking at the wrong thing. No, but we can cover some more entertainment crap. But I heard about several celebrity deaths today, and this is the only one I knew.
That's the only one I heard of. I just heard about that before the show.
Yeah,
I heard
this guy's
about
a
it.
little bit
But
younger
I
than I
saw
am.
multiple. That's the only one I recognize.
Yeah. There
What was the cause of death on him?
Cancer.
Cancer.
Yeah, he had apparently cancer for quite a while. I don't know how long it's.
That's why there was no sequel. He dropped out of Doctor Doom.
Of what?
That's why they had to reboot. That's why Fox had to reboot. He dropped
Reboot
out
what?
because he was sick.
Of what?
Way back.
Julian McMahon played in Doctor Doom in the original Fantastic Four movie.
Right.
From Fox.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't know
And
that.
he dropped out.
He was in the first two, wasn't he?
Yeah, he dropped out of the sequel, which was rebooted later as Fan Sick or something, and it turned into a real shit show. Yeah.
Yeah, he
I
was
still
in.
have not watched and probably.
Yeah, I mean, I watched like the first 2 seasons of Nip Tuck back in the day. It was on FX or whatever. So you said Fox. I was thinking Fox Television, not.
Oh yeah, movies. Fox Television though. Yeah, he was good in the first couple of seasons.
Okay, there he is. Doctor Doom, Fantastic Four. There we go. And its sequel, Rise of the Silver Surfer. I didn't even know that, and I think I saw that one. Thought I saw them both actually. Wow. Okay, so July 27th. So he's a month younger than I am, more or less. But so his dad was Prime Minister of Australia.
Yes, his father was the Prime Minister of Australia who disappeared under mysterious circumstances while out skin diving.
Oh wow! Went at the Great Barrier Reef, was he? And got
hit
by a shell.
He was diving on I forget now, Swansea, I think, in allegedly clear water, clear skies, clear weather, and didn't surface. After an hour, they sent somebody down, and they couldn't find his site. They couldn't even find his drop tank.
Oh wow!
Everything was gone, including his tank.
I mean, that can happen. You can get caught in a current.
Yeah.
You know, you go scuba dive. Yeah, you get. I mean, there's all kinds of crazy things that can happen, and you're gone.
Yeah.
So, well, there we go. So go ahead.
Okay, created the rule that was soon adopted around the world of dangerous sports and activities that were banned for life. Leaders, there's certain activities that leaders are banned from. Now, JFK, had he followed the protocol, because it wasn't law then in the United States, wouldn't have been able to be assassinated, according to some leading experts, because of the McMahon rule. And the McMahon rule would have had his security all reviewed before being approved. You know, there was just so many shortcuts taken on JFK's security. People say, "Yeah, Pigeon." He was put in the shooting gallery. Which, according to all rules at the time, would have never happened had they followed the rules. But the rules weren't law.
Oh, Jimmy Swaggart died a few days ago. That's right. There was something else floating around Facebook.
Who? Swaggart?
Jimmy Swaggart. Yeah, I didn't know he was still alive.
Really?
There was something else. Yeah, today and yesterday I saw on Facebook.
Know that either.
Yeah, he died on the 1st.
He was one of the premiers of TV evangelism, wasn't he?
Michael Madsen died yesterday.
Heard about that. That was all over Facebook. I didn't
know that. Yeah,
But there was somebody. It was Kylie Jenner's manager or something. She was pretty young.
Yeah, Cole. Yeah, I'm looking at the deaths here. Cole. Now apparently
there's some soccer players.
I'm looking for it.
Yeah, these are deaths this July. Yeah. So there's a Canadian hockey player, Jimmy Swaggart, a Dutch soccer player, Jim. Well, apparently Jim McMahon died 2 days ago, according to this list.
Okay. Yeah, Sophia Hutchins, Caitlyn Jenner's manager, was found dead yesterday, aged 29, after an ATV accident.
Yeah.
Yeah. Collided with a car and fell into a ravine near Jenna's home in Malibu.
It was Jenna, it's not Bruce Jenner, right? It's
is it Kylie Jenner?
They call him Caitlyn now.
Okay, so it is Bruce Jenner.
David,
it's Bruce.
And if I may, still within respect, it was an accident. Because we know how all this goes.
Well, yeah, I mean,
because remember.
No.
Caitlyn
hold on. Yeah, all right. Hutchins was actually founder and was currently CEO of a health technology company. So when you're saying accident, another CEO death. There's been a lot of them if you look them up. CEO deaths under mysterious circumstances.
Who's Hutchins? Who?
Hutchins was not only Bruce Jenner's manager, but she was only 29. She was the CEO. Yeah, she was a multi-millionaire. She was about to become a billionaire.
That shows how much of a lazy crap I am.
Okay, but there have been multiple CEOs across the world who have died suddenly. Some of them in accidents. Some of course, had the safe and effective. But as U.S. insurance respond to a spark of CEO deaths, saying that it's statistically impossible, and it's hurt the insurance industry greatly because of the massive payouts in 2024 and 2025 due to the amount of sudden deaths by CEOs across the world. And guess how many of them were replaced by Indians?
Well, that's a Microsoft just laying off thousands of developers, and then they're wanting the more H-1B visas.
There's two other big deaths.
Wow, you weren't joking. Jimmy Swagger is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whoops.
And he died of old age.
Admiral Piet.
He was old.
Admiral Piet?
No, not him.
Yeah.
Dang. Well,
is in The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, right?
Yeah. Well, he's with Darth Vader now, and he's probably choking him right now for the failure.
And Kenny Baker.
And Kenny Baker.
He was
so right now, Admiral Piet right now is being choked by Darth Vader in the afterlife. With all due respect to the both of them,
well, I think he was the only one that didn't fail Darth Vader, because I think he went down. The rumor, the story goes that it was not Admiral Piet's fault that the Falcon got away. He put in effort to try and capture it, and you know how Vader looked, but he was also so distracted with with his chasing of Luke and everything, and so he wasn't in the beginning. He was just killing officers left and right. But in the midway through the film, towards the end, he's just he was just so up. That's why he became obsessed with Luke, that he just walked past Piet I need to think about this. And Piet was ready. You could tell he was ready. However, Vader likes it when people actually try and do their job, when they try. So I could safely say that's what kind of saved Piet, because Admiral Ozzel just ignored orders.
Though it's a big retcon, they did fix the story later when they retconned in the fact that he deliberately let Luke go away, and he was executing officers who got in the way of his plan and didn't follow Piet's orders. It was retcon, but it made more sense when they fixed it.
Yeah. I could believe that. I can believe that.
Yeah. See, Lucas didn't have a plan going. Lucas himself keeps saying he had a plan. Yeah, everybody else came out 20 years later and says, no, we didn't. Okay? Empire was not even knocked out by Lucas. He had rough notes. Okay? 20
I think he had an overall arc, but he didn't have the potential.
No, he had an overall arc, but that was Empire came out of 20 lines on a page or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of question as to how far in that plan.
Well, yeah, I've seen notes, handwritten notes that are pretty much a paragraph of 1 through 9, you know, in videos and stuff, and not personally.
Yeah.
But he
when you look
didn't
at the
follow
storyboard,
suit. Right.
Yeah.
After Jedi, I mean, the original, because there's an interview with Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
And I want to say it's either during the shooting or right before the shooting of Jedi.
Well,
and because it was still called Revenge of
Yeah.
the Jedi then. And he was saying that Lucas, it was like on Carson or something. And he said, Lucas had asked him, said, hey, you know, we're going to take a break. We're going to make 1, 2, and 3. And would you want to come back and for 7, 8, 9 and be kind of like the Obi-Wan character passing on? But after Jedi, it was done and dusted, and his marriage was done for, and Marcia, you know, divorced him and all that stuff. He was just, and parent groups complaining about the violence and kids movies, because these are not kids movies. They were never meant to be kids movies. This is young adults, right? This was 13 to 18-year-old men is what that was. Male boys is what it was targeted at.
But you know,
the toys were targeted at little kids. But parents groups, I mean, we talk about Karens now, but parents groups were complaining in the 80s about the violence. And
Karens have always been.
And I think it was it Empire and Indiana Jones that forced the movie industry to create PG-13?
Indiana Jones Temple of Doom is pretty much what did it.
Yeah, it was started and that kind of
Temple of Doom is what did it.
Yeah.
Oh, does anyone
the heart scene? The heart
does
scene.
Anyone
I remember the controversy.
Oh yeah. Does anyone remember why it was changed from Revenge of the Jedi to Return of the Jedi?
Yeah, I believe I do. Because of Star Trek was supposed to be the Revenge of Khan.
That was going to be the Revenge of Khan. They changed it. They both changed it because they thought it was going to be Revenge to Wrath of Khan. So then neither of them were Revenge.
Right. They didn't want 2 revenge movies same summer.
Right. But it worked out because then he was able to do Revenge of the Sith, which worked better anyway for episode 3. So,
well, I know he said, "Oh yeah, Jedis don't take revenge," but you know,
in the expanded universe, they sure did.
yeah.
Yeah.
But so it was a nice.
But come on, middle finger to Lucas. He's a jerk. He treated people like shit. People didn't want to come back. That's why Star Wars died.
Yeah. Well, he definitely treated
Carrie.
What's his name? David Prowse.
He liked Harrison Ford. He treated Hamill and Carrie Fisher like shit.
Yeah, and he really mistreated David Prowse. I mean,
David Prowse
wasn't
got
even.
The writers.
He really got the crap into the stick. David Prowse.
He wasn't even allowed to appear in cons and sign as Darth Vader.
Right. I don't know what he had against.
And,
there was one.
And then he has the gall to say he regrets selling to Disney when he was the one who jacked up the price for over and over. Yeah. He wanted to sell to Disney. He was the one always negotiating. He was the one who wanted more. You know, he started at 10. They dropped it to 1.
Oh, poor George with his $4.05 billion.
Yes, that's because Disney made the mistake of buying Marvel at the same time, and he says, but we're rated. We got, at the time, Marvel and Star Wars revenue was about the same. So they said, if you're paying for that, you're paying the same for me. And Disney couldn't argue because they had. Right, Star Wars was technically at the time.
Did Disney buy Marvel after the first Iron Man movie or second?
No,
it was after the first, I think.
They bought out the distribution, then they bought the company.
Okay.
I know Marvel was the one that screwed up the Demon in a Bottle storyline, which they were going to do, and then they pretty much nerfed.
That's because it went from being handled by Fox to being handled by Disney. I mean Paramount. Paramount was handling it.
Oh yeah, it's a big Fox Disney. I don't blame you for making that mistake because it's a big confusing mess until it all got under because they sold the rights to like several different people, and Hulk is still under Universal, I think.
Yeah. So what storyline was that? that you're talking about?
Oh, the Demon in a Bottle.
Yeah.
Are you not a big comic reader, Brian?
Not since Carter was president.
Okay, so you missed that one.
Mm-hmm.
Demon in a Bottle is probably the best Iron Man.
It was a specifically, it's a one issue. I think issue 128 is the big one. If you look, try to copy this link and send it and put it in the private chat. But it's a very iconic cover. It's got Tony when he realizes his alcoholism has gone too far, and he starts messing things up. He's like, there's a train, and it would have made a really good movie if they would have done this right. And Robert Downey Jr. knows about addiction. He could have done a really good performance. There's a scene where he's drinking on the job basically, and he tries to save a train that's like derailed. Yeah, there it is. And that's the iconic cover. And then it would have been a great movie. And he tries to save it and makes it worse. And they're like, we're gonna have to evacuate the town. I thought we had it under control. Well, we did till Iron Man showed up, and he's like, and then Jarvis, who in the comics was his actual butler, a real person instead of a computer program, tenders his resignation because he's like, I'm not going to sit here and watch you destroy yourself. And that's when he realizes he's gone too far. I mean, it's a really good issue. It's like an issue of Iron Man, but instead of a villain, the villain is alcoholism.
Yeah.
And he whips it unrealistically in like
79. Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
So I was more into Sergeant Rock back then too. So
it's a really good issue. Yeah, I like Sergeant Rock too. That was a extremely good run of Iron Man. David Michelini and Bob Layton.
We didn't get a lot of Marvel comics. We mostly had Spider-Man, little town with only, comic rec this big, So you had you had a row of Disney stuff, your Donald Ducks, your Mickey Mouses. You had your Spider-Man, I think was the only Marvel. I think Superman at the time was the only DC that we got. But I heard growing up about Iron Man and
you got
the comics.
You didn't get the actual issues as they were published in America, did you? I mean, I know England got these. You got these collections where they would be in
that's what we would have. Conventions would come out with the collections from England.
Right. Okay. And they weren't necessarily, you'd get them months or years after. They'd be all out of order.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because why have a cohesive story when you can just go.
But another big.
But the odd one is that we used to get the crossover ones. So you wouldn't know, right? You'd have Spider-Man versus Doctor Strange. You'd have no idea who these characters were. Because you get only the rare comics, the ones that sold the most.
You just got the popular ones, basically.
Yeah. Anything that was in the top 10. So even the comic rack wouldn't be the same every month. It was random. And they weren't plastic either. They didn't come in plastic. And a lot of them were used.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Oh, well.
So was there plans to do this storyline? Maybe in Iron Man 2?
They were going to. It was going to be like the second or third movie, wasn't it? With the second movie?
I think they pushed it back with the second movie. They kept
but by the time they did it, it was like he was drinking a little too much for like a day or two. And it's like they totally nerfed it. I mean, it's like that could have been such a powerful storyline in the movie.
Remember
the neighbors are shutting off stuff now. So
remember
mine too.
Was it Avengers 2 where Tony Stark's drinking? He goes, "Not a great plan." He was meant to drop the glass, and he didn't. He forgot, so they left it in and dropped Demon in a Bottle completely. I don't know if that was him refusing to do it.
I thought it was Marvel that influence that did that for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not sure because there's always that. See,
that would have been good for 3 because wasn't 3 after Avengers?
Yeah.
That's
what
they had. They had him have like What do you get? Shell shock. What do you call? What's the new thing for shell shock?
PTSD.
PTSD.
Because in the Avengers,
which was dumb. They should have just did the alcoholism story.
Yeah, because that's where they had civilians getting killed, and this was part of what led to the Kosovo Accords or whatever it was.
Yeah,
right.
That would have been a good time to have him really doubting himself.
Yeah, and he's under a lot of pressure.
We already saw he was drinking
when
a bit much in the first one.
They purposely had him drinking in every scene so they could go do Demon in a Bottle.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Wow. Yeah.
And they blew it because at the last minute, and we're going to find out in years later, it was Robert Downey Jr. who refused to drop the glass and do this and have.
Oh, really?
Have what is it? You know, when you do alcoholic shakes.
Oh, okay.
That's unfortunate. But I think it would have done great.
Look,
well,
I read recently about I didn't read recently. Sorry, I saw on YouTube recently about behind the scenes on DSV of how Sequest was torn apart by the studios behind the scene, how they kept reimagining and reinventing it, how they kept screwing over stars and giving them less and less time to try and please the A-listers, to try and keep them on the show. But then they couldn't afford the A-listers because the more screen time they gave them, it was a shit show of idiots who were chasing ratings, you know? They couldn't be happy with 33, you know? Because 33 is fine, but 34 means you get 34, you know, you get the extra bonus.
Yeah. Well, the thing is people forget if you make a good show first, ratings are a result. You know, and granted, sometimes good shows, well-written shows get canceled or they put them on times that they're hard to find.
Because the cost.
It's like Fox with anything sci-fi that wasn't X-Files, right? Space Above and Beyond won all kinds of awards, gone. You know,
because
that kind of thing still happens. But my goodness, but the vast majority of the time when a show gets good and becomes pop, it might take a season or two to find its voice.
Right.
But when the writing gets good and it's cast properly, the ratings take off.
Yeah, X-Files, which consistently rated in the 20s, and Star Trek Next Gen, who consistently rated in the 20s for the first 5 seasons or 6.
Right.
Yeah.
They weren't getting the ad revenue to justify those shows. They were subsidized by Baywatch and other shows, you know, and repeats of American Gladiator.
Oh, American Gladiator, yeah. I always forget about that show.
But that show may have been so dumb, but it had high ratings. It was in the 50s, 60s at some point.
What, American Gladiator?
Yeah. Its ratings were high.
Yeah.
It was getting high ad revenue.
And it's fairly inexpensive, right? I mean, there's no special effects. You come up with you're probably your biggest
cost they had was insurance.
Yeah, I'll say insurance for getting people injured, but that's pretty much it.
But Gladiator, another thing about American Gladiator is they shared a Canadian studio with other shows like it, so they didn't have to build a separate set.
Right. Just tweak.
You had 4 shows. You had, you had Knockout, American Gladiator. I forget the other 2 shows, but you had you had It's a Knockout Canada, It's a Knockout Britain, It's a Knockout America failed, but American Gladiator took its place. And then you had the Survivor special, which they always claim they never filmed in the studio, yet the background is always black.
Survivor.
The special
reality
edition of Survivor. Yeah.
Oh, a special edition.
Reality.
I was only halfway watching Survivor by season 3, so. It's like Amazing Race. I used to record because I like to see where they traveled to and what the puzzles were. But as soon as they were, and Survivor was similar when I used to record it and watch, I just wanted the puzzles. And they would sit there and talk about, Tammy's really mean to me. I would just hit the fast forward. Just get to the puzzle. I don't care. That's not what I'm here
for. On the screen. 10 minutes of her babbling about her feelings.
What's the matter, Egg? I got a scared doggy sitting in my hair beside me. It's not too much noise. Oh, he just sneezed on me. Lay down, it'll go away.
You know why news flash. Why is American pie
Stop sharing
America's
this.
favorite
If I can
food?
find my
actually, it was George Washington's favorite food.
Oh, really?
What apple pie?
Yeah. Hope cakes, cherries, fish.
Oh, is that booming at your place, Dr. Coppanails?
Probably, yeah.
Here's
This is pretty loud.
But in his day, apple pie, you wouldn't recognize apple pie because
I'm just thankful my dog went deaf a few years ago because it doesn't bother him anymore now.
Let me guess. The old apple pie doesn't have 7 pounds of sugar in
it. No. Okay. American apple pie was completely different to what it is today. In George Washington, the apple pie was a hot cake with apples in it. It was European style. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And it was basically, I think you call them biscuits, don't you? Dough cakes.
Hey, there he is.
Yeah. Yeah, basically dice it.
I did not remove him. He's removing himself.
Hey, he's removing himself and adding himself. Yeah.
I'm going to pick my nose on camera if he does it one more time.
In later years, hoe cakes the apple was replaced with corn.
With porn?
Yep.
You can't say that word on YouTube.
All right. However, macaroni and cheese was made popular by Thomas Jefferson. Yes, they weren't. So apple tarts. It was. He also added. He was the one who added maple syrup to the 4th of July celebrations, putting them on what they and later renamed apple tarts.
Yeah. Well, it's probably like the apple pie you get at McDonald's, except without all the sugar on the outside.
No, that was John Adams.
But what I'm saying is
changed it was changed later how apple pies were made. They used to be hoe cakes with apples added.
Wow. Hoe cakes?
Which is European style. Okay?
As in tarts?
Yeah.
As in tarts.
Adams made it into what is now known as the cobbler dessert. Sorry.
Do you speak English?
Yeah. I stutter sometimes.
That's all right. I go.
Okay. But Franklin. Yeah, Franklin was the one who added tarts to the recipe. Of course he did. He was a pimp on the side. he was founder and chief executive of the Hellfire Club. You know that, right? Franklin was a pimp.
Oh,
he had a club.
Well, I didn't know he was a pimp, but I know he
enjoyed having a good time.
He was the Epstein of the day. He was a pimp. He used to bring over Irish women and pimp them out in expensive hotels.
All right, so this website's claiming in August 1779 letter from West Point inviting friends to dine with him. This is him being George Washington. He noted that he might be treated to an apple pie. The cook has had the surprising with a Z luck to discover that apples will make pies, P-Y-E-S. The journal wrote. Yes. So supposedly this is this apple pie recipe from Hannah Glass, adapted by culinary historian Nancy Carter Crump, requires a lot more time than the standard one of today, but the end result is more than satisfying. Glass instructed that the apple peels and cores should be boiled with mace till it is very good. That's a spice, but I forget what it tastes like. Liquid is then drained and reduced prior to being poured over and around the apples and the crust before baking.
But the original crust was not biscuit; it was cornmeal.
So this is using they're just using the common pie crust because that's too much effort.
Easy. Yeah, too much effort for them to make. Yes.
Although they are 5 to 7 tart apples. So Newton Pippin or Granny Smith peeled, cored, and cut into 1/2-inch thick slices. 3 cups of water.
This family grew the apples, by the way.
cup and 2/3. Now the other thing too is their apples aren't nearly as well. That's Granny Smith's, but
yeah, Granny Smith's. Yes, but
yeah,
guess whose family grew the green apples? It was my ancestors, at Applegate Farm in up in New York. That's where he got his apples.
In New York. Private chat.
Hello.
Also, Jim.
Another
Shooter
death.
died.
Oh man.
Oh, he wants to come on, but too much copyright. It's TOO.
Yeah. But yeah, basically, over the years, corn gave way to well, it wasn't called corn then; it was maize.
Maize,
but
yeah.
Maize, cornbread, as it became known, gave way to other, to wheat and other cheaper to produce products.
So who is Jim Shooter? Marvel Comics. Oh, okay. Editor-in-chief.
Former editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics during one of their best periods.
June 30th.
But
yeah.
Also started writing comics at the age of 13 for DC Comics when he wrote in. They didn't realize how old he was when they hired him. They hired him through the mail. He wrote for Legion of Superheroes.
Back in those days, a lot of comic book guys, they would write their stories and mail them to Marvel, and Marvel would mail them a check.
And he was very tall, so when he actually met the editors, they still didn't realize how young he was, because he was like 6'5" even when he was younger. So,
but Marvel was the first. Was it Marvel or DC who started contract writers where they'd pay you a cent a word and they'd limit you to 16 pages?
I'm not sure. But probably Marvel. Sounds like Marvel.
Yeah. But basically what happened was, instead of paying them a wage and they'd write X, and they'd have to write at least X amount of stories because out of all the stories, like maybe one, they'd submit 12, get one published. What they did is turn around and say, okay, if we publish you, you get paid X amount per word. And they destroyed the comic book industry. Marvel actually collapsed and was bought by DC, but then they fought against monopolization. So Marvel was still kept a separate company. And when Marvel got back on its feet, they bought themselves out from under DC. But DC made its money not by publishing comics for themselves, but publishing everybody's comics. And so when all these companies
bought
themselves out,
hey, what's going on?
How's it going?
Hey, what's up?
How's
Happy
it going,
4th.
guys? Oh, we're having fun. We got the lights going. Like,
we're talking about dead peoples.
Dead peoples. Oh no.
Oh,
hey,
no.
So I'm sorry I'm super duper late. I really wasn't expecting to be this late. But yeah, it's
we're talking about apple pie.
Are we? Yeah. Wow.
Also,
and then Marvel Comics.
We suddenly jumped to Marvel Comics because I was going to say,
I like Marvel Comics. I got a lot of people in the background talking. But anyway, hey, have you guys noticed the really cool new tab that they've got? I'm sure that you guys can't see it, but Leip, can you see the new tab called People? It is super dope.
Where is it?
Over on the far right.
Ooh.
It's called People. And like you can now look at you can adjust people's audio on the fly.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. I didn't know
That's
that was
super
new.
cool.
Yeah.
But it's weird. Anime Night, if you unmute yourself, can I? Oh, there it goes. Okay, I see. All right, you can do what you're gonna do. I just was curious to like if you. Oh yeah, you've got your auto turned on.
So we can make Dr.
really
loud. Or
okay, I've turned my. I don't necessarily. Let's see. What is my? I'm gonna put my volume right there. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm only one at 1080p. That's weird.
And don't worry, the background is appropriate. She's wearing pants. She is wearing pants. I know my body makes it look like she's not, but she.
It's okay if she's not wearing pants. I'm not gonna say anything.
Or
as long as your head's covering the naughty bits.
Or if you prefer,
the one in the very background, the second official American flag, the second official American flag.
It's not like the got milk flag. That's cool.
Ironically, I got these from the same booth at the two different conventions. Both of them were their last ones too. Like there was the last one of that one, and then the got milk one. And the guy, he remembers me because I was his last customer on that Sunday. He's like, I remember you. You bought the got milk one, didn't you? I'm like, yep, I bought that one. Well, you're lucky again. This is the last one right here. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna keep coming back for more because I would love to get more hung up and everything.
Yeah. Hey, so what have we discussed as far as like any kind of news topics like going on or what?
Couple of deaths. We were talking about we started talking about the big beautiful bill, how it's been passed.
Yeah.
But,
that was weird.
We don't exactly know when all the tax credits take place. I think it's basically over the next month is implementation as it rolls out across the country.
I'd really like to experience this no tax on overtime.
Oh yeah, that
would be epic.
Yeah, because as I said to Appalachian yesterday, for me,
this morning,
yesterday for me, that's what I said. But
I forget.
You can be up to $5,000 richer over Trump's term, depending when it kicks in.
Yeah,
right.
Well, I'm really hoping that we can get these no
tax credits are permanent.
Are they?
Yep.
According to that, it's only going to be a $400 increase for a family of 4. Well, which 2 kids, 2 dependents. So I mean that's kind of cool and all, but like really, what does $400 do in the grand scheme of kids?
I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm not
saying it's good or bad. Yeah. It's the same, but what I mean is, in the grand scheme of things, no one single measure does anything on its own. It has to be a whole bunch of measures. Okay, the $400 on its own isn't anything, but then you get added no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for seniors. It does put, and overall, it puts an extra trillion back into the economy, which of course is taxed again. So it doesn't mean the government's losing $1 trillion. It just means they're not collecting it at once. It's going through the spending, and the spending process creates more jobs. Now, New York is threatening to undo all this with local taxes. And so is California.
Of course. Because
the government can never do with less.
Yeah.
Only the people.
And people wonder why New York and California, the biggest icons of America, are falling into the crash of the brick wall.
New York and California have destroyed the middle class. What a shock, right? And now the socialists who were representatives in Queens now and Bronx and all that now want to pass a law. I mean a law, by the way, so-called equal rights that will give you $30 an hour minimum wage. So rent freezes, government-owned grocery stores, and public safety reform, which cuts millions of dollars from policing and gives it into the hands of intervention groups. Plus, get rid of all the tax cuts by adding state taxes, etc. Where are you going to work? Okay, you take all the money off the millionaires. Where are you going to work? Are you going to work for the government?
Yeah.
When's your money going to come from? They just print money.
The money printing ferry, where it always comes from.
Printing ferry.
It just grows on trees out back of the White House, doesn't it?
Yeah. But
Somebody's
the thing is,
child.
My kids, I don't know what they're laughing about.
But
they're laughing at the government.
Yeah, probably.
The thing. How are corporations meant to compete against the government when the government says, "Oh, you earn more than $1 million, your company earns more than $1 million, we're going to increase your taxes." Meanwhile, the state-owned enterprises don't pay taxes. So where are you going to shop? You know, obviously, this is communism by stealth. Oh, it's not so stealthy,
GE figured out they donate money to Obama. They don't pay taxes either.
Yeah.
So, hey, did they sign the bill today?
Yes,
but they signed it yesterday.
No, he signed it today. My roommate.
A few hours after we finished coffee and gaming, it was signed.
Oh, the president. Yeah,
the president.
No, I want to hang on to it.
Oh. When you're done, Mom's got.
I mean, all these idiots keep voting for some fucking tooth fairy who goes around and says, "I'm going to give you free stuff." Didn't you learn anything from the Pied Piper? No. No. Humans do not evolve. Humans do not learn. Okay.
No.
People. I saw a lot of people going. I saw a lot of people going, "Oh my god, the big beautiful bill's a disaster. Oh my god, guys." I'm like, people, let's calm it down a little bit. I understand some of the concerns, but remember, we barely got this passed because by 2 votes. People forget that. People are forgetting we have a slim majority in the House. Yes.
Yeah, it's not that much of a majority. It's I mean, literally, it's a handful of people will decide what's going to happen, and that's what sucks.
Yeah.
What I was trying to get to.
It would
sorry,
be like
my kids derailed me. They're telling me good night. When he signed it, did you guys notice there's no yellow fringe on the flags?
Really?
Yeah,
I'll have to look again.
I've heard there's some kind of significance between fringe on the flags and not.
Okay.
There goes David doing the deep diving.
Yeah.
Real quick though, it would be.
I usually find the answer.
So basically, ladies and gentlemen, in layman's terms, say we're voting on something. It's me and Coffin Nails again, and we're the Republicans. And Channel Dad, Appalachian, and David are the Democrats.
I will never be a Democrat.
No.
I know it's a what if, but I will never be a Democrat.
No. Stay with me.
Okay.
Let's pretend that those 3 I mentioned are Democrats on the opposite side of the aisle. That's how close it was in layman's terms, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
That's how close it was. So, yes, that's the slimmest majority if you want to take it with that. And, but I'm happy it got passed, and I cannot wait to see this. Hey, Elon. Where's my 5K, man? Where's my 5K check that you and Doge said that you were promised? You promised.
Right.
Hey, with that 5K, I could do a whole lot more.
I could fill you in now on the yellow fringe.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, go ahead. When Congress defined the United States flag, there was no yellow fringe ever mentioned. The national flag was the national flag no matter what. However, a yellow fringe was a violation of Title 36, Section 176G, yet there is another law that was passed, I think, in 1925, and it had the yellow fringe added for times of martial law, right? Now, according to some insiders, Trump had the flag flown during the bombing of Iran.
Oh.
Ooh.
And the flag is up again as a signal that he's ready to do it again. But this time it might be Gaza. Every time Trump issues a warning, he puts that flag up. So every time you see the yellow flag, every time you see the gold fringe, or what's sometimes referred to as the Marine flag, That means Trump is ready to give somebody a spanking.
Now, what happened when it was under, like Biden, for instance?
That was the same thing. The signals of military action.
Because for the longest time he ran, I mean, it was always the yellow fringe.
Yeah, it's a way the government uses to signal that they're undertaking military action.
Oh.
Biden, it was
Gotcha.
Syria. Yeah, it's a State Department thing. It's not legal, but they can't stop the White House from doing it. Congress has actually asked Trump to stop doing it, but they also asked Biden and Obama to stop doing it as well.
Somebody commented on it and said, for those unaware, the flag with gold fringe means the court isn't operating under maritime law and has no jurisdiction over you. Maritime law is illegal when applied to the man on the land. The fringe,
to the man on the land.
The fringe is finally gone. Now round up every single judge now.
Yeah, they're misinterpreting the law. The yellow fringe is is a military flag, not a national flag.
Gotcha.
But you can't fly it on federal property. It's illegal, except for the Marines.
Gotcha.
If you look at the Marine Corps flag on the march, it has the tassel. Yeah, maritime law. That's the Marines.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
okay.
who
I was just curious.
Most foreign military action.
Yeah.
Right. So somewhere someone is getting spanked. Maybe covert action, but it's still going on.
Can you hear that? They're going nuts out here.
Well, they're doing it too at my house, so I don't hear anything out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Just hoping they don't set my house on fire. That's all.
Sorry.
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't hear it now, Dr. Coffin-Nails. I heard it earlier.
Okay, under the big beautiful bill, you are getting the F-21 Raider, the F-47, and the Navy's F/A-XX, which is the upgraded to the F-15, not the F-18. The F-18 is being phased out in lieu of failures to perform. It is the F-15 Super Eagle, but it's getting a new designation as the F-15AXX for now. It is a new composite skin instead of aluminum, and it's made totally in America, unlike the current F-15 and F-18.
Yeah.
And the F-35 is being phased out for the F-47. Okay, F-21, you're getting basically 9 B-2s are going to be slowly put aside, and they're going to be replaced with Raiders, which is a bigger, badder version of the B-2. Yeah, but it's a replacement, not a increase. Most of this is replacement. Most of what Trump is spending is only replacement spending that Biden, Obama, and others have put off for years. However, the difference between the F-35 and the F-47 is the F-47 is unmanned.
Wow.
Unmanned. It's known as the quarterback. So the F-15 will replace the F-35. Well, it is the F-35, but you know what I mean. It's a new. The F-35 has been cut down from 74 to 47, and the F-34 will basically quarterback will take over. Eventually, there'll be manned versions of the F-47 eventually, but for now they're deploying them as a quarterback drone.
Well, doesn't the F-35 didn't have always have a lot of problems?
Yes,
they were flying it first, and then because I used to see them when we used to go to
like the F-22.
We used to see them all the time.
Yeah.
then poof.
It's like
they
the
were gone.
F-22. There's F-22s and various other aircraft out there, but they're slowly being replaced, you know.
Yeah. Because we'd see those, and then we started, because you used to see Harriers flying around, because there's several Marine Corps bases not in that part of North Carolina. And then the F-35 was doing stuff for a couple of years, and then it was gone, and then we saw Harriers again.
Yeah, they're showing the I'm looking at it right now. They're showing the B-2 and the F-35 flyover. Those look nice. Yeah, I forget.
Been replaced by. See, the F-35 technically was meant to be an upgraded F-15. I think they're going back to the F-15 program because we're seeing a lot of F-15s being flown to.
Well, yeah, because the F-15 kicked major ass. Let's get that out in the open.
Yeah,
and
the F-15.
Because most of it's going to be carrier based, and the F-35 is not a good carrier aircraft.
Well, F-15s aren't carrier based. F-18s are carrier based.
I still remember as a little kid.
Too costly.
I still remember as a little kid growing up in the late 90s, the F-14 Tomcat was still flying. Those were still flying. And then they were magnificent because I remember going to I think I went to the Michigan Air Show at least up until 2008, at least 7 times in various different years.
Yeah. They're trying to streamline out over a dozen aircraft like the F-15s, F-18s, and all the others that have been sitting there, you know, for years on payroll and only flown a few times a year, but they've got to be repaired and replaced every month. And they're ready. And NASA has its own fabrication, and so does some other places. But places like, you know, the big Air Force bases, they don't have, you know, their own fabrication, and they don't have any more, and they're basically cannibalizing half their aircraft to keep the others flying. And just because the aircraft maintenance can't keep up, you know, with the fabrication of parts, because they've been all trying to flip.
Some of those airframes are 30, 40 years old.
Yeah. So the F-16s are going to Europe. Okay, the F-35s are cut to 47. They're not making any more. It's just like the F-22, the 20 or so that is in service are going to stay until the end of their service. But after that, the F-14s, F-15s, F-16s, they're all going to Europe, and they're slowly being replaced by Super Eagles and F-47s. Half your carrier aircraft are going to be drones. Command and controlled by Aegis cruisers as forward operating aircraft.
Wait a minute, haven't those been shown to be very hackable? Those cruisers. I thought there was a security issue with them. Like, when did they fix that? I mean, like from years ago.
I
recent.
Start to think that was a ruse? Inside job, a ruse to basically bring in what was called then the digital fortress. I forget what they call it today, but it's basically a new digital command center. Basically,
yeah.
It was a Pentagon, you know, rattle their cages. The senators don't know what we're talking about. Heck, half of us don't know what we're talking about.
Right. Right.
For them, it's all buzzwords. No, they throw around buzzwords, and by the time anybody figures out that they're full of shit, it's too late, you know?
Yeah. Can't send the nerds to Congress. They don't do well in public spaces.
Yeah, they can actually probably understand far better what's going on. But the thing is, yes, you can technically lose aircraft to electronic warfare now anyway. Look, there's very few air-to-air battles these days because aircraft that get too close to each other, their radars overwhelm. You know, the pilots get deaf from the droning of their alert systems.
Yeah.
These aircraft are not allowed to fly within 1 mile of another aircraft because their electronics go haywire. Because they keep getting false missile alerts and start pumping off, all the auto flares.
Is that somebody's stomach? You looking at slides?
Oh, terrible news. Oh, my God. Iron Shark might be getting season 2. Well, the content creators will be happy. That'll be about it.
Iron Shot.
That garbage Iron Man rip-off looking.
You mean villain origin story, don't you?
Are we talking about Ironheart
with a girl?
Yeah, I'm not.
Who's really
Girl
a
boss.
thug.
I mean, some people are watching that for content. I would not. There's not enough money in the world to pay me to watch that stuff.
What if I paid you $2.58 trillion?
Okay, maybe that.
Don't forget. Yeah, we're not going to be able
okay,
to
Dr. Coffin-Nails, I will schedule the AC-130 to carpet bomb. Then. I'll schedule the AC-130 to carpet bomb your house with watts of cash.
Okay.
So you're going to see crates of cash crashing through your house.
All right.
And that'll be my compensation to your house damage.
Okay, well, there you go. I'm sure that'll be enough to buy a new house anyway.
Don't forget.
Oh, if your neighbors get angry, they're like, "I'm sorry, but this place for me."
I hate the fact that some content creators, no matter what they do, are getting paid $10K a month. I mean, where's this magic money coming from?
Sponsorships. The sponsors are in control. The sponsors. Why do you think I haven't made the jump yet? I'm trying to find one that would make sense.
Because you can't. Well, you haven't made the jump because you can't afford to buy the views. Because how much of that 10K is going straight in the pockets of troll farms in India and Macedonia, allegedly, and China, of course. I mean, I've spoken to people, allegedly. I've spoken to people, and allegedly, a lot of them, even some of the big channels, are buying views.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Damn it.
Although I think the Japanese-made videos are definitely getting real views. It's anime night watching the same video about 1.6 million times.
It is very possible if you just leave it on repeat and everything.
Yeah.
All you have to do is just put on a video, hit repeat once.
I'm sure
it's
3 minutes long, so yeah.
And then watch and then go to bed and wake up 8 hours later and hit refresh. And then the numbers at the 500s.
No, his AI assistant mate is standing there with a hands in a fist on hips, going, "Where did you go? You leave me alone. You left me a long time." Oh my God! But iRobot's getting a reboot again. I wonder if it will fail in production.
Well, isn't it time they reboot Spider-Man again? It's been long enough.
Well, Tom Holland apparently is doing one more Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Watch. They're gonna do the.
Are they gonna make him gay and put a chick in it?
Watch. He's gonna swing from the building. He's gonna swing from the building and go wait, and then hits a car, lands, and it's like, I'm back.
I just want him to do Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire. That's all. I thought they were going to do that.
Marvel Rivals has brought the Bully Maguire dance into the game. I saw it. I'm like, yeah. Now, in
economic news. Liberals. Sorry, in economic news, Liberals are blaming Trump's big bill for a drop in consumer spending, not the fact that prices in China are rising rapidly and that orders from China are reducing as companies shift production to India. No, it's Trump's big, beautiful bill has already caused economic disaster that somehow ships months ago that left Chinese ports coming in at 40% capacity is somehow Trump's fault, that people are buying more American. You're killing the Chinese economy. It's like, oh my God.
Well, that's who controls them, so that's what they care about.
Yeah. Absolutely. Of course, if you don't buy enough Temu, how's Temu going to buy politicians with cash?
That's right. That's
Speaking
right.
of
It
Temu,
does affect their bottom line, doesn't it? Eventually.
What's that? Hakeem Jeffries got called Temu Obama, and it got trending.
I was watching that the other night. I was watching that, and I didn't go to bed till like 4 in the morning. Like 4, 5, 6 in the morning. Because of how long Jeffries was going. And I'm like, somebody pull the hook. Can somebody tell him that his time is over? Could somebody please, Hakeem, please get voted out next year? The next midterm, a lot of people are gone.
No, I hope so. But Democrats are so addicted to these frauds because they're fifis.
Well, that's why he's the team.
We're pushing the pound people. We don't vote
That's why he's Temu Obama. That's why he's that. He's what Obama would have looked like without charisma. He's what Obama would have looked like without the
Anybody
charisma.
know that Andrei Zubeski?
Did you say Andre 3000?
He's the guy who wrote The Witcher. He called George R.R. Martin a hack and said that he'll never complete Shades of Winter because we saw it already in Game of Thrones. Burn! Burn! He's never going to finish it because he's.
We already got the big, beautiful bill signed before that book came out.
Yeah, and that bill was
I think by the time that all of us in here are in nursing homes, the book will finally come out.
I think Martin will die and it will come out. I think when Martin dies, it'll come out. It'll be and then.
But is he really a grifter, David? Is he really a grifter?
Martin? No, no. I think Martin's getting too many script deals because he gets paid $15,000 a consult on every script that he consults on, and I think he's just why write a book for $150K when you can get that from 10 scripts for less time,
Hey, you guys want to see CCTV of an airstrike in Iran?
Oh, absolutely. I love them. I love me some booms.
Oh, holy moly.
Quite a bit of booms.
Yeah.
Boom. Boom.
Oh.
Boom.
Dang.
That second explosion looked weird.
It did.
There's a flash, and then it goes.
Look at those cars flying.
Well, if it's a missile.
But it didn't do any damage. Their nuclear program is completely intact from what I heard.
Is it?
Well, they moved the material
that's
a month before the strike.
Yeah.
That's what the Iranians would have us believe.
Yeah, the material spread out over.
What up, Coda?
What's up,
hey, they've been 3 weeks from a nuclear bomb for 35 years. So,
yeah.
Hold on, there is some caveats to that where they have taken out people and reactors in the past.
Wasn't that pretty much the entire plot to Top Gun Maverick?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, they didn't come out and say it was Iran, but it's pretty obvious that's where it was supposed to
be. Happy 4th, buddy.
It's probably Russia. Not much snow in Iran.
Look, Russia let Iran get bombed because Iran was buying military equipment from China, and Russia wanted to send a message to the mullahs: you should have bought original, not from Temu.
Yeah.
Iran is what happens when you buy air defense from Temu.
Yeah, don't buy your air defense from the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Yes. So you get his wishes.
Get the original Amazon, not the Temu knockoff. Yeah.
Yeah. Even though Amazon these days is basically a front door for Temu.
Hey, so Hakeem Jeffries set a record for filibuster.
Again?
Telling us.
Well, I'm just saying, like, this was yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Felony indictment
it wasn't
coming.
technically considered a filibuster. It was floor speech.
Okay.
I mean, from what I heard, it caused somebody to sign the bill that wasn't originally.
Yeah, there's several people that were like,
Yes.
"Wait a minute, this guy's just blowing." Yeah, he's
Blowing
lying
smoke.
about stuff. I'm voting for this stupid thing just to.
Piss him off.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
don't
it's
think it
true.
succeeded
Six
too
people said, "Fuck you," I'm voting for the bill, and he shut up.
Oh, speaking of which, Planned
Yeah,
Parenthood.
for-
Actually, Planned Parenthood is
Planned
being
Parenthood
defunded.
got defunded. Yeah,
Yeah, thank goodness.
Take that, Bill Gates.
Good.
That racist organization.
That your daddy is now spinning in his grave.
Did you know that
yeah.
there were?
Trump was
Someone dig up
racist.
Margaret
He-
Sanger and
This is
put her
what
on
I have to
trial.
say about Planned Parenthood. There were two bills
Trump-
in two
yeah.
different states to end child marriages. You know, where they can marry girls as young as 12 years old, and one was in Oregon and one was in California. The one with Oregon went through, so they outlawed it. The one in California did not go through because it was opposed by Planned Parenthood.
Wow.
Because they felt that it might infringe on abortion rights somehow. So
Yes.
you know,
That,
So
yes,
screw
I
the
remember this. I
12-year-old
forget her name.
girls.
A woman came out and
Mhm.
said, "But you're infringing on the rights of 12-year-olds to get an abortion." And
Mhm.
people went, "What?"
Yeah. So yeah, that's Planned Parenthood for you. So
And apparently people pointed out that it's already illegal, and they don't know why these laws are being. People are finding out that the government's passing laws, and it's not just blue states, but mostly in blue states. The governments have been now passing laws that have already been passed decades ago. They're just repassing the same laws so that they're up to date.
right. Yeah, let's not even get into their racist.
Does that
roots.
includes the LGBTQ plus n squared pi people?
Yeah. They got to make sure the
Yes,
modern
Margaret
language is
Sanger and
used.
her. Yeah, it's
You mean Hillary Clinton's mentor?
yeah. Yeah, but
Black
Hillary
women
Clinton
in
did
the world.
discriminate that only black children should be killed, like Margaret did.
Wow.
Yeah, but after Margaret Sanger's death, Democrats opened up abortion to all. But yes, abortion used to only be in black neighborhoods under. Was it up until Clinton, wasn't it? Up until the second term of Clinton.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
I
Roe v.
forget when it
Wade was a
but
white
yeah.
lady.
Yeah. And she turned against abortion.
Right. Well,
She didn't
probably,
originally want
I'd
an
say it was
abortion.
probably in the 60s when people convinced themselves it was a right and they should fight for it. Oh, by
Yeah.
people, I mean the CIA convinced them.
You mean the
The
various
whole
foundations, yes,
hippie
that the
movement.
CIA fronts. CIA doesn't do anything. They get other organizations to do it.
Hey, in the 80s, I fought for my right to party.
The party. And we're not going to take it.
Ryan's the only one that got that one.
People
I
are
appreciate
now
that.
noticing.
You got
oh,
it. Hey, no stops till Brooklyn, okay?
That's right.
No.
Stop.
Stop, Brooklyn.
Well,
All those guys are dead now, right? I think.
I don't know. Are they?
Really?
I
Really?
thought all
No.
three of them were dead.
Jeez,
Beastie
everyone's
Boys.
dead.
No,
Brian
I thought
Wilson's
one was
dead.
still
He's
alive.
another one that died.
Are the
recently.
Beastie Boys still alive? Is the number one? No, the Beastie Boys are not still together as performing right now. Adam Young, also known as MCA, passed away in 2012. Following his death, the remaining members Mike D and Ed Rock decided to disband the group. According to their statement in the Rolling Stones, while they have released retrospective works like a book and documentary, they have stated they will not record under Beastie Boys' name again.
Okay.
So one of them died and the other one.
Okay.
I thought it was two, but okay, one died.
Yeah.
I know actually, they were talking about recently about who was it that got appeared before Congress about the censorship? Black Sabbath. How they actually, some congressmen regret doing that because they made music they don't like popular. And it's just, they did the same with rap.
Well, you also had, what's his name from Twisted Sister?
Dee Snider.
Yeah, Dee Snider was up there. Yeah, that was mostly led by Democrats. I know that people like to hang that on the conservative Christians.
Yeah.
That was
Tipper Gore.
Tipper Gore.
Every time you hear them say, every time you hear about Christian censorship, it was, you turn around and say, yeah, that was but what Lieberman wasn't a Christian and he was a Democrat. Tipper Gore, well, yeah. Al Gore's wife wasn't even an elected official. So, you know, they always loved to say it was Christian cancel culture in the 50s and 60s, but no, it was the Gores in the 70s and 80s.
Yep.
Oh, they got some idiots like Swaggart to sign on, of course. And who was the guy behind the Moral Majority? Claimed 40 million followers and like a bag of shit when he found out they didn't even have 12,000.
Was that Baker?
I think it was Baker, yeah.
Jim
Baker
Baker,
had 40 million followers.
Tammy Faye.
Yeah. Back before people were buying views on YouTube, people were rigging the ratings on cable television.
No,
it's true. You look at airports, CNN in all the airports.
Jerry Falwell was moral majority. Sorry.
Yeah. A lot of people, look, when moral majority were putting out their TV ads, a lot of things were left out. Sure, they were pro-family and they were against abortion allegedly, but they made some compromises. They were into gun control, and that started to lose people straight away. But yeah, they were also funding Democrats. They were funding both sides of the house. They were they were up to shady fundraising in, for World Bank and food programs and, so-called religious freedom. Except for Saudi Arabia, of course.
Who keeps yawning?
I don't know.
I don't know.
So people
probably be. Because I go again on my own scooties.
It is 10:42. I feel bad because I was so late. But
I need to get out too.
Yeah. I guess we'll be back in the morning for coffee and gaming. That was a good time this morning.
7 a.m.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I did it this morning. Just I used to back in the day. Well, I used to have a lot more vacation time, and so I would take any time that I was off. Man, we were doing coffee and gaming, but this new job, I don't have that much time off. So
me, unfortunately, either I haven't built up enough time yet.
I know it sucks.
Do you not acquire it as quickly, or you don't have as much?
I started off. I changed jobs back in October.
Yeah.
So, I haven't even been there a year yet.
Yeah.
So.
And he's still doing overtime.
And I changed in August of last year. So I have I only have a week right now. I mean, I've used about a week.
That was one of the things when I left AAA. I'd been there 10 years, and so I was acquiring it quite quickly. But and then it's
like my previous job, I had like a month of vacation left.
I went from having 5 weeks to no weeks.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
5 weeks. That's a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot of overtime.
Or
a lot of vacation time.
I work for the state of Indiana, so we get like 14 days a week off anyway through the year. So, 14 on an election year, but
ours is just we just had a PTO pile. It's just sick or however you use it's however you use it. So I forget how much it is. I mean, I've been there 5 years now, so it's starting to. But it's like even when you come in at a senior level, it's like, oh yeah, it's like, really, you're gonna start me down? Unless you're an executive, then you can come in at whatever level. I've never had that.
Look, there are some things that the Democrats used to champion, which were pretty reasonable. But though they championed all these causes in wage reform, they never implemented them. And they keep blaming the Republicans. But whenever they have the majority, you don't see them.
It doesn't matter which party. If it is a campaign issue, it will never be solved, period.
Yeah.
It has to maintain, especially if it's one of their biggest fundraising campaign issues, that you could put them in complete charge, Republican, Democrat, complete charge of anything. It'll never be solved. Ever.
Well, I guess we're going to head on out of here. We'll be back in the morning, 7 a.m. for Coffee and Gaming. We're going to carry on with
our wayward son.
Gears of War. Do what? Oh,
don't you cry no more.
Sorry, I got it. Hey, but I'm going to leave you off with, in celebration of the 4th of July. And before we go, check out everybody's links. They're all listed down below. Buy David's book. Check out Ammonite's channel and all that good stuff, and Lape's channel, and yada, yada, yada. Before we go, I'm going to leave you out with Zach Wilde playing the national anthem. So enjoy, sit back, and we'll see you next week. Well, we'll see you tomorrow at 7 a.m., but we'll see you next week for the War Room. It's been real. But you guys have a great night. Take care, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
Bye-bye.
Good day, sir.
Later, dudes.
Good night, Jim Bob.
Hell, I got to go.
Peace out.
Burn in hell, New World Order. Fuck you. Fuck you, New World Order. Fuck you, Bill Gates.
I love you. You gotta do better than that. I love you.